You're watching Oilersnation Radio.
We should all look in the camera when the show begins.
Oh, I was biting.
Nobody look at each other though, just straight at the camera. So now Liam is uploading the podcast straight to the Twitter account. You can watch the whole video version there if you like.
On X.com.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please do.
You're uploading it live?
Yeah.
They're watching us live.
We should do the show live once.
That is true.
Can't trust Rick.
No, can't trust Rick.
Well, Rick's not here. Let's go live.
Yeah.
Let's do it live.
Rick is in Mexico, so even though this is the Tuesday episode, he is my cold performer of the week.
Oh, that's cold.
Ironically, he's very hot.
Both in sexiness and temperature.
Mm-hmm.
He was at a pool party yesterday. If you subscribe to the Rick stories, I was very jealous. That is a story for another day. As we do every week, we start off the podcast with a delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company. The Nation Network is proud to partner with Odd Company to bring you the all-new Nation beer. It's called Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for the next big game, like tonight's game between Edmonton and Ottawa, maybe. Or just your next go-to lager, because it's the last Tuesday of the week. Find it at Odd Company Brewing. They got 2 locations here in the city or at Liquor Connect. Just find out which liquor stores have it near you. And if they don't have it, ask why they are making poor life choices. You want delicious beer, and Nation Beer is that. Tyler Remchuk?
Yes.
What is the delicious debate for today?
Well, right before the show, I was asking you guys, I was like, what direction should we go for the delicious debate? Because
One direction.
There's the question of today, Kasperi Kapanen picked up. How worried are you about the Oilers' depth scoring? There's the question about Darnell Nurse is out for 5 to 10 days.
Uh-oh.
Evan Bouchard stinks. How worried are you about the Oilers' blue line? And then there's the question of Stuart Skinner is struggling to make a handful of good saves in a row and put together good back-to-back good games. So how worried are you about the Oilers' goaltending? So when you look at those 3 things, I guess the delicious debate is which one are you most worried about?
Oh, God.
Brilliant.
We're playing the hits again.
I feel like I've been here before.
We're spraying the field.
Get a right-handed shot defenseman and we'll be fine. I'm just trying to
like Josh Brown.
Answers. Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
I guess it is kind of like that though. Like, which one of those issues are you least confident will sort itself out?
Liam, what say you? I want you to start with this.
So it's the goaltending,
The blue line.
the blue line, and they can't score goals.
Yeah. Kind of a handful of problems right now.
I'm going to say...
Couple of problems.
Points in 4 of 5, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to say the blue line is the one I think I'm most worried about because, I mean, they're going to score more goals. These guys are too good to kind of be held off the stat sheet for as long as they have been. I think they are getting some good looks. Eventually, there's going to be a run where they just kind of keep it flowing. The goaltending, one side of it has been pretty good. Like Pickett again had a really good start yesterday. What did he finish with? 9-12?
9-12.
Right? You can't ask for much more. That's what people beg for, 9-10 or better, which is way above league average, by the way. So mine is the blue line because the other worrying part about it is what if someone else does get hurt? And you already have like 3 guys on there that are probably AHL level. And I'm not including Ty Emberson in that because I think he's a solid 6th defenseman for what he's played his 41st game in the NHL last night.
And he's actually had like noticeable improvements.
I think he's been much better.
And he's physical and he actually moves the puck okay. I think we're a bit, as a collective, I say we, but like we're a bit too maybe hard on him early in the year because he's starting to figure it out. I think just to piggyback off Liam, I would agree with that too. Like, not that I'm not worried about the goaltending and not that I'm not worried about the lack of scoring or the forward group in general, because it's filled with aging vets. And I think just sitting there and being like, boy, I hope these aging vets remember how to play hockey in the back half of the year. It can be a dangerous game, but maybe I disagree because has the blue line not been fine all year?
But I feel like the blue line has an easier path to, the blue line, there's an option to get it better by acquiring somebody else. The forward group, I mean, like Jeff Skinner is playing on the 4th line. That's silly. Podkolzin is somehow playing on the 2nd line, doesn't have a goal. Nugent-Hopkins has 1 goal this season. But that's a path.
He's got like 8 posts though.
I know. Like he's going to get one in eventually.
The curse is real on Nuge right now.
I feel like this is an episode from last year.
I feels like that.
I feel like
except we're
you're
saying
going to
from
yell
last
at me
week.
about fucking, what's his name? Raphael Lavoie playing in the top 6 again like you did last year.
I'm not in this seat. Dude,
It was.
This room,
I was over here and you were there. And it was
Really?
scary.
That was in this room?
Yeah, you yelled at me.
I'll never forget.
You yelled at me. It was very upsetting.
I do think like the forward group is skilled enough to sort itself out, but I do still think there might be some concerns there that they maybe don't move all that fast, and not fast in the sense of like skate quickly into the zone, but move fast in the sense of like get to dangerous areas. And then when you get the puck, move fast enough to take advantage of them. And I think that was part of the problem yesterday. The blue line is a concern because Nurse is out. And like you said, like knock on wood, but if one more of the good defensemen, few good defensemen we have goes down, oh boy.
You're toast.
So maybe it is the D.
I think for me, it's different. The forward group issues. I mean, we see this movie every single year with these wingers and trying to find somebody to score along with McDavid and Draisaitl. So for me, that's not as big of a deal because they will come around. On the defense, these are the question marks that we had going into the season. I think we're still at the point where we still need to acquire somebody to fix the lottery ticket options that we have at the bottom 6. I don't think Nurse has been that bad this year, and Bouchard will come around. This has just been one of the more frustrating stretches for him. And then body language wise, he's just killing me. So for me, the biggest issue I think is goaltending. I seen this issue come up with a guy that I thought we were kind of solid with and confident going into the season. It's just got me worried. And we're now consistently seeing it over and over again. I think there was one point where I said that we'd only seen like 3 bad games out of Skinner out of his first 10, but now we're looking at that going up into 5 and 6 number, and that's just not good enough. So yeah, I think goaltending is my issue. I'm not worried about Pickard, but then that's the other problem is you can't bring in another goaltender because Pickard's good enough.
See, that I find that such a weird argument that people are making. I agree with you on Pickard. Like, it's just automatically send him down.
Yeah.
So what do you mean send him down? People are saying he wouldn't get picked up. He's probably one of the best backups in the league right now.
Well, I mean,
when money as well.
At 5-on-5, because the penalty kill was god awful for a stretch, it's getting better. But at 5-on-5, I said the stat today on ONE, and stats are facts. Mm-hmm. Out of the 47 goalies who have played 300 5-on-5 minutes this year, he is the 15th best save percentage in the league. 15th out of 47 is a good number. And on Skinner, Dan, like you said, it's hard to look back and see good games. The only thing that's giving me a little bit of hope here is like the goals against are bad on Skinner, but to his credit, and this is where I feel like people just kind of like close their eyes when it's something that doesn't fit their narrative. He's made some big saves this year. That game against Calgary, he made some massive saves. Like, he's not playing so bad that he's unplayable. If he was unplayable, it would be like Jack Campbell last year, where it felt like he was getting yanked once every 4 games and the other games were 3 or 4 goals against. And it was like, okay, we can't do this anymore. Skinner is at least serviceable. And I do think we'd maybe view things differently if he got some more run support in a couple of these games, but he does still need to be better. And yeah.
Well, and for me, it's what's creeping up more and more with Skinner is it's off the rush chances that are going in, and they are egregious. And what do the Oilers do better than most teams in this league is give up off-man chances. And so, yeah, again, it's a trend that I thought we weren't going to have to deal with at all. So that's why I think it's.
But then that also almost goes back to the blue line, where it's like the blue line is actually holding strong for most of the game. But then when they make a mistake, it's like 5 alarm bell fire. What is going on? And Stuart Skinner's left being like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
It does
by
bleed
1,000 cuts.
Do you guys want a fun fact?
Yes.
I've been curious about this one.
Please let me know if this is fun or not.
No.
Calvin Pickard has the same number of games above 900 save percentage as Stuart Skinner in half the starts.
So over what time?
This season. First 19 or 18 games.
Yeah.
19.
Is that fun?
It's fun when he plays. I like, that's the thing. Like,
so to give you want more fun facts?
Keep him coming.
Skinner has only 5 games above 900 in his 12 starts.
5. So that was, do you have them?
I could pull them out.
I have them.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Calgary. Vegas in a loss. He stopped 31 of 34. Carolina in a loss stopped 30 of 33. And then Philly in a win stopped 27 of 30 for dead on 900.
Okay. So what are the ones that have been bad, I guess? So Columbus was really bad.
760.
Winnipeg was bad.
615.
Leafs, not great.
Leafs was an 8-18, but even that was like again,
good.
like the goals against were ugly, but like he faced 22 shots. Like,
Yeah, and he let in 4.
I know, but like, how many of those would you say were like very weak?
At least 2.
Which one?
I would have to pull up the highlights, but I remember thinking 2 of them drove me nuts.
So the first one was that scramble in front when
Just-
no one protected the net. I won't put that one.
McDavid had a chance to whack it, couldn't get the puck out.
The other one was when Bouchard put it into McDavid's ass and it went right to the slot to Matthew Nyes.
Yeah.
But like, I guess my point is more so at some point,
Stop one of them.
you got to stop one of those high danger mistakes.
I think the third one could have been, I don't even know if saved is a good, because I don't know if it could. At the end of the day, you're on a breakaway. But his positioning was weird and he,
OT goal did not like.
yeah, it wasn't great either. I don't know. I just look back at these games and like, I think he's had 2 brutal games and I'm defending him, but I'm not, because I think he needs to be better. And I agree, like a timely save would be awesome because an easier chance to save, but Stolar's made one at the other end, not that long before
Exactly.
Montreal. Who do we play? Toronto
Leafs.
scored.
Yeah.
But it's some games, like I look back at that Calgary game where they lost 4-1 at home. Skinner was really good.
Yeah, he was fine.
And then the Oilers let him down. They stopped playing in front of him.
That was the game with the 2 disallowed goals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, as soon as Rasmus Anderson scored to make it 1-1, that team was awful in front of him.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is happening a lot where this team is just like almost letting him down. He's letting them down too. But even you look at like the Vancouver game, like Bouchard gives up that stupid power play late with a minute left.
Yeah.
That would bring up the number. I don't even know if it would have brought it to 900. Maybe it wouldn't have, but it would have been damn close. And you'd be like, you know what? Stu only allowed 2 in that game and the others give him some run support.
Yeah. Out of the top 50 goalies minutes wise this year at all strengths, Stuart Skinner's high danger save percentage puts him 44th out of those 50 names, which is not good, obviously. And you might wonder, like, does he face a lot of shots? No. High danger shots against per 60, 49th in the league out of those 50. You know who the only goalie who has less than him? Pickard. So the Oilers goalies are 49th and 50th in terms of high danger shots against per 60, and yet they are making fewer high danger saves per 60 than anyone else. I mean,
It's an interesting stat.
sorry, high danger goals against was what I wanted, because Pickard is also dead last and Skinner's not great either.
Skinner is also dead last in the league in goals saved above expected currently.
What is it at? 8 something, right?
He is minus 9.3.
It's not good.
Yeah, per 60, it's minus 0.65.
So to go to your question, it's the goaltending.
But do you think the goaltending will figure it out? Because Skinner technically has a better save percentage Skinner has a better save percentage through 12 appearances this year than he did last year.
I like, here's the thing, like Skinner is much better than he's playing right now. And that's what annoys me. It's the same thing that annoys me about Evan Bouchard. He is so much better than he's playing right now. Can he figure it out? Yeah, I believe he can. But I also think that the defense has proved that in its current state, while certainly flawed, is capable of defending at least reasonably well. But when they make the mistakes and they all end up in the back of the net, you know that's going to, the guys in front of you, they're going to start gripping the stick. That's just, it's just how it is. So goaltending, it's the most important position on the ice.
I also think that, again, we talked about it before, there's just no flexibility to fix that goaltender position. He has to fix it, or it's Rodrigue.
But like the only way to get Rodrigue up is if someone's hurt or if you send down Pickard, and sending down Pickard doesn't actually solve the problem because you're getting good games from your backup.
When everyone's healthy again, you could call up Rodrigue and just run 3 goalies.
But like, are we really going to?
I wouldn't. But
No, they're not gonna do that.
like they did that. They've done that when Skinner was coming up.
And when Campbell was having his issues,
Yeah, they ran 3, right?
they brought Pickard up, and then
They waived Campbell. Campbell ran 3.
Yeah, it was Smith and Koskinen who was here with
right.
Skinner.
So I guess just to answer your delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company, for me, it's, if I'm power rankings, it's goaltending, defense, then the scoring. I think the speed thing to me is just overblown a little bit. If you're moving the puck well, passing it, you're going to be faster than the other team.
They just got to get to the tough areas better.
Well, they're also not willing to do that. Like last night against Montreal, they were just content to play on the perimeter. That, like, outside of a couple of chances early on in the first period, that to me was probably one of the easiest shutouts Sam Montembeault is going to have. Because a lot of stuff, he could just see it cleanly, or it was from the outside. They had 4, according to Nat Statrick, they had 4 high danger chances last night.
Yeah.
It was hilarious seeing the Habs give them stuff, give them ice, and the Oilers are like, okay, we'll just keep this and you guys have that.
Yeah.
It was bizarre to watch.
On the power play, they kept pointing it out on the broadcast too. Like,
they're just standing there.
They're just standing around. And McDavid was just doing circles, wait, and maybe I don't even know if that's what they do every game. Maybe I've just become numb to watching the power play. But I feel like last night was worse than it has been.
I agree that it was worse because I went in on the Nation Media account that we post some highlights on Twitter, and I went back to the playoffs, specifically in the round against Dallas where the power play was kind of humming.
Those were the days.
The movement from those same 5 players was so much more than it is now. They were all kind of like, there was almost like a clockwise rotation happening at all times to try and like open lanes that would create the cross ice pass. But like last night, there was one where Evan Bouchard was on the point at the right side and Nuge was just standing there on the point on the left side. And I'm like, what is going on right now?
The goal they scored against the Islanders the other day when Nurse scored, there was an angle from behind the net. And literally, they are just going around in a circle. Everyone is moving. And I know it's 5-on-5. Then Nurse is able to get that kind of weird angle on Sorokin, of course. But like, still, like, I don't think that would have been able to happen if those guys didn't have all their feet in it.
Absolutely not.
All 5 of them. And it's just like, okay, I get it. Sometimes it is good to, like, when David go, see what kind of magic he can produce. And that will open up lanes. But like, you can't do it for a full 2 minutes. Just like all standing there and waiting for the best player to do something. It's just not a recipe for success.
Well, because I was also watching the football game last night. It was just like Montreal was content just to pop into zone defense, and that's all they had to do.
And that is a team that has been putrid defensively this season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, like the Oilers a couple games ago, they started to click on the power play. They started to overwhelm and come in a tight box and pass that puck around. Awesome. I don't get it. We all sat here on last Friday and thought we were going to have an easy time with this road trip.
To me, I think you tweeted it last night, Tyler. Like they just seemed content. They looked like they thought everything was going to be easy for them against Montreal. Like little flip passes. Like there was nothing greasy about the Oilers' effort last night at all.
McDavid was the best player by like miles.
I'm just clicking through NHL Edge here, their advanced stats website. At even strength, the Oilers so far this season have spent 43% of the time in the offensive zone, 38% of the time in the D zone. There's 17% in the neutral zone in the middle there. But that offensive zone time is in the 93rd percentile in the NHL, like one of the top teams in the league in that regard. And yet when you look at even strength, they have scored, sorry, I got to go per 60 here to even out the number of games, but they have still somehow scored the 22nd most goals in the league. So like, how are they getting this much zone time? How are they an expected goals for per 60, 5th in the league, yet they're bottom 10th in the NHL in actual goals? Like to me, that says 2 things. One, and I've been saying this for a while now, eventually they're going on a heater. And eventually they're going to score on a bunch of chances.
Give me that PDO heater.
Right? Like they're due for it. We know this kind of stuff happens. The other side of it is they're just okay being perimeter and they're trying to make cute across the ice plays and they're trying to score the highlight reel goals. And they're not just willing to say, I'm going to put my stick on the ice in the crease and hope it just goes in off me,
that's what was frustrating. Cause like when they blew out Vancouver, I guess that would have been last Saturday?
Saturday.
They were way greasier than this. There wasn't perimeter, cute cross ice passes. It was shoot, drive, clean up the garbage.
Yeah. Like they were just throwing shit on net and it was going in like that. You can't get the other team's goalie can't give up a bad goal if you don't shoot from some bad spots.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like that was so frustrating about last night. Like Montembeault saw everything.
It felt like
this is the NHL. Like a goalie that is competent is going to stop everything he sees for the most part.
It felt like they were checking in with Montembeault. Like, hey, this one's coming from here. You ready? Just
a lot of fluttery wrist shots from like high in the slot. And I'm like, woo.
Anyway,
I want to change gears a little bit. We haven't spoken since, I guess, Friday, which means we didn't get a chance to discuss the hit on Darnell Nurse from Saturday's game against Toronto. Just curious everybody's thoughts. Start with you, Dan, from the hockey fights / violence.
Yeah, that was a wild hit. Reaves, the run up to the hit, I think, is the biggest thing. You could really see that Reaves was able to take in everything that was going on with that play. So no matter what you say about how Darnell Nurse handled it, and he's again carrying the puck up the ice, just gross to see the contact with the head. Anybody that tried to say that was a clean hit, you've lost the plot. It's just a yikes. Reaves himself accepted that was the bad play. It was a bad move. He tapped his chest right after the play, goes to the locker room after the game. So yeah, it's just, I know Leaf fans were saying that it was clean, but no.
Well, that's just, they're like not even trying to be unbiased.
Well, like there's a difference between trying to argue it's not clean and trying to argue that Reaves wasn't trying to hurt him. Like, I don't think Ryan Reaves, and he is a tough guy, but over the course of his career, he's never been like particularly dirty. He doesn't have the same reputation that like a Wilson does.
He's only been known to snap every once in a while, but yes.
But like he's not a predatory headhunter.
Yep, exactly.
So in that sense, like I can agree with what the Leafs fans are saying, where it's like, we didn't mean to hurt him. Yes, but he still did. So there's a consequence to that.
Of course. And it's not the end of hitting in hockey. It's not the end of Ryan Reaves hitting. He's just not going to hit a guy in the head, hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, to me, like the thing that's also annoying is Ryan Reaves could have absolutely blown up Darnell Nurse shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
Shoulder to chest even. He could have blown him up with a very clean hit, and he just didn't. He rose as he was going to hit him right to the head, and Darnell Nurse ultimately looked like an owl spinning his brain backwards.
Yeah, it's pretty scary to see, to be honest. That still of just the way his head was. Like, gross. And obviously blood all over him. Hopefully he's doing okay. I don't really have much else to add. I just think that like it's a hit that shouldn't ever be defended. Like, it's hard to, I don't understand the people like, well, Nurse had his head down. It's like, sure, like I understand that. But that isn't an excuse to go in and just take his head off.
No.
Like it's just a poor suggestion from some fans who are saying that stuff.
Like, again, when you have your head down, yes, you are susceptible to being hit cleanly. You are not susceptible to having your head blown off.
Yeah. Just, I don't get it. And I just don't understand how people can see Reeves' reaction and still go against it. It's like, do you not think he realizes what he did?
Yeah,
that should just be the end of the conversation.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone to apologize to Nurse in one of the intermissions, whatever that was.
But a lot of those people who say that stuff are faceless on Twitter, so it's no surprise.
Well, to me, it's so dumb that like they're defending it. It would have been akin to us. Like, remember when Zach Kassian kicked somebody in the chest?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
It would have been like us trying to defend that and be like, wow, you didn't kick him in the face.
Shaking the snow off his blade.
Yeah, he was just, just giving his leg a little tingle. You had a Charlie horse.
I remember there are people being like, Zach Kassian was trying to kill that person. It was like, I don't think that. Listen, hockey skates are dangerous, but I don't think you quite understand what a hockey skate is like if you think that could kill someone doing that in like slow.
Eric Chernak.
Yeah. But he like pushed him in slow speed. It's like, that's not going to like kill anyone.
It was dumb though.
And he sat for 7 games, and we didn't, I don't think, argue a second of that 7 games.
It's like, can't kick somebody.
Can't kick someone.
We're really mad at Kassian for that.
What do you think? 5 games enough? Just wrap it up.
I just understood it. You don't have the hearing, so you can do no more than 5. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what a good number would have been anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. I feel like 5 was fine. 10 would have been a lot.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, 5.
When I saw 5 come across, I turned my phone off and put it, like, I didn't sit there. I didn't think about it twice, which means they probably got it right.
Yeah.
I wasn't offended by 5.
And the Leafs are better for it.
Yeah, they actually get better having him out of the lineup. Darnell Nurse expected to be out, or at least according to Chris Knobloch, 5 to 10 days. I don't know about that. Like, really?
Not with the way the head injuries are nowadays.
I don't know if I'm speculating.
Of course,
I feel like it was probably more of a neck injury than a head injury. You know what I mean? Like the whiplash. I obviously got hit in the head, but like he was told, like, it has to be whiplash, right?
So, and what we did hear, the reports were like he was walking around the room after and laughing and joking. So I totally get the idea of like, well, if he has a concussion, you're saying 5 to 10 days, like he's not going to be back. But there's also the side of me that's like, well, what if he doesn't have a concussion? And like, this is their abundance of caution play. Like, hey, Darnell, we think you're fine, but we're going to give you 7 days here just to make sure nothing pops up. Because the last thing you'd want is there for to be like maybe some underlying effects and he goes and gets popped again. And then it's like, whoa, now we got an issue. So maybe this, if I want to be optimistic, which I don't know if I am, but if I wanted to be optimistic, it would be that this is the abundance of caution moment.
Well, and listen, I choose to believe that the doctors would not allow him out there unless he's cleared to go.
I think it's the Sidney Crosby effect. Crosby had that game where he went out, or he forced himself into that outdoor game, and then David Steckel, I think, hit him.
Oh yeah. Also too, like, who knows of Oilers injuries right now?
Yeah.
Like, David was supposed to be out 3 weeks. He missed what? 3 games?
3 games. Yep.
Victor Robinson's day to day for the last week.
Yep.
I have no idea.
He had a 50% chance of playing until he didn't.
Austin Matthews has been day to day for 3 weeks and is now in Munich seeing a specialist. So
according to Brad Treliving, not a big deal though.
Nah, everyone does that.
The
I'll just pop a quick on over to Germany. Just down the road.
Obviously very different in the schedule and everything, but in the NFL, you have to submit an injury report on, I think, Friday, and it has to be like accurate.
Yeah.
In the NHL, you can just go like,
you just do whatever you want.
You can say upper body and it could be lower body.
Those that's one of the interesting injuries in hockey.
Yes.
Now. Upper body, lower body.
That's one of the interesting things about just getting more into the NFL this year and just playing the fantasy league that we have here at the office is like, no, they're pretty like dialed into who's playing, and if they're out, and they'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's the end of the conversation.
That's just really all it is.
And that was around the gambling, the fantasy, people paying attention to it. It just seems like it's not the same here in hockey.
Shocker.
Sticking with the defense, we got to do it. I know you boys have done it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. What's going on with Evan Bouchard?
I think Louis DeBrusque said it very well today on the show.
What did Louis say?
He said he's thinking too much.
Which I know what you're thinking.
The look on his face says the opposite.
What was the line Louis had? He was like, there's too many. He's weaving through the neurological pathways. Yeah, too much.
So
what he said.
I think where it kind of makes sense is specifically with Bouchard with the puck on his stick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he is at his best, and we know what he's like when he's at his best, one of the best offensive defensemen in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's grabbing it. He's zipping it out there with Connor and Leon. He's getting pucks through lanes. It just feels like right now,
a lot of double clutching.
Yeah, like there's a lane in front of him, and he's having such a crisis of confidence that the lane's open in front of him, and he goes, am I sure that's open? Oh, can I shoot that? Okay, I'm going to shoot it. And then by the time he makes that decision, even though it's a split second later, the lane's closed up. And I even think a little bit in the D zone, he's not, and I don't think he's naturally a great defender, but right now it feels like there is a lot of, he gets set in the D zone and he looks and goes, that's the guy I got to pick up. Okay, feet, let's go. And then it takes like, again, 2 seconds for him to get his feet going there. I do think there is something to like, he's in such a funk that there's no rhythm to his game. When he's at his best, he should just be out there freestyling.
Well,
can.
Liam posted a clip of him from the playoffs.
That was awesome.
The footwork he showed on that, finding a shooting lane, getting it through, like that's Evan Bouchard at his best.
Yeah.
Right now he is, man, Andre Sekera walked so he could run because he is hitting everybody but the net with that thing.
Crazy.
And that goal that I retweeted last night was so simple. And you, in the sense of like, all he did was he got the puck, saw the open ice, took it and ripped it because he has an elite shot.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just not using his skill set right now. And offensively, like I think those struggles, it makes sense that they would kind of come and go with like a young defenseman like that. But like his effort on some plays for me is what bugs me the most. And it's
the back check specifically, is the non-back check, back check.
3 games this season, we can point out a highlight of that happening.
And I get people are like, well, he's got to like, the goalie might make a save but it's like, still just skate hard.
That's just, I think the city of Edmonton and Oilers fans in general, that's just who we are. We demand hard work. And when we don't see it, we are body language experts and we care about it. We saw it with Draisaitl before. Yep. Draisaitl used to get complained about every second game about he's lazy and doesn't back check. But again, it's just that body language.
All of a sudden, Draisaitl a lot better on back checking.
There was someone, I can't remember who it is on Twitter, is like posting that Draisaitl is like 12 games without a minor penalty right now.
Oh,
Pretty
good
for him.
yeah.
But back to Evan Bouchard, it's just like, to me, this is one of those things where like no spreadsheet is going to account for a player's confidence, and he's playing like he has none.
Yeah.
He's so much better than what we're seeing right now. So like the hyperbole of like, he's got to go, send him off into the sun. Like, no, he's a great player, in my opinion, playing like shit.
But what did you make of, and I'll say the reason. So last game, he was obviously on on the ice for the first goal against.
Yeah.
On the ice for the second goal against.
Mm.
They were obviously very quick back to back. He did not leave the ice.
Yes.
People were saying it's like, well, the Oilers were down. They had to like recover and try and get back in the game. I was like, totally get that. There was still 5 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the logic after the second one specifically to like throw him back out there again. He even tried to leave and he got back on the ice. I just like, I'm not saying like bench him, but like take him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Give
know?
him a quick timeout. Does
Like,
the body good sometimes.
And the thing is too, like, I understand Nurse was out, but like Kulak's been playing really well.
He's been fine.
Emberson's been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just give him like you're showing a lack of trust in those guys too.
Well, and there's also the accountability factor of early in the season, Knobloch benched Draisaitl.
Skinner is not seeing more than in any top 6 minutes right now because of his defensive work.
So what is that? I guess that's what's confusing to me. Like, you're going to bench Leon Draisaitl, who is tied for I don't know if he still is after last night.
He is
tied for the league lead in goals. But like Evan Bouchard can just miss a shift or two.
I don't understand it.
Knobloch's player usage is weird.
The only thing the difference between them is Coffey takes care of the defense. So does he have the call? And he would obviously have the call who's on and off, but like surely Knobloch can be like, hey, Coff, like maybe sit that guy for a shift.
Yeah, just give him a break.
Yeah.
Give him a break. But I'm not like, does anybody think healthy scratch him is the make sense? I don't.
They don't have enough good
Who
So we're rolling Ekholm Dermott next game?
Josh Brown up at the top.
Oh, no.
Josh Brown, there was a point at last night's game where the Oilers were out shooting the Habs 2-1, and he at even strength was being outshot 1-7. How does that make sense?
But they didn't score against him.
I have a couple of the fancy numbers for you.
I love spreadsheets.
Just doing the individual shot attempts for Bouchard. He attempts 18.23 shots per 60 right now. Only 9.37 of them are unblocked. So that would mean 8.85 blocked shot attempts per 60 minutes for Evan Bouchard, which is alarmingly high.
Not great.
Travis Dermott, I don't know why I find this so funny. Individual expected goals per 60. So right now, Dermott is at 0.07 individual goals per 60, which is wildly low.
So he's going to pay like 4 years to get a goal? I don't know.
So I did the math. So again, 60 minutes divided by 0.07. At his current pace, he would score one goal every 857 games.
Cool. I can not recall anything Dermott has done in the last 2 games.
Positive or negative?
The only time I like with Dermott, just if I hear his name, I go, oh, that guy.
I forgot he's played. Like Stetcher obviously isn't playing a lot either, but like I feel like there's a moment in the game where you're like, oh, that was good play. Like that was fine. And like maybe it's a good thing you're also not noticing him. But my goodness, surely they can just call up Phil Kemp, for example, and he can do the same job.
Oh my God.
Also a right-handed shot.
You can take this as a compliment or not. In his last 4 games,
I always love these.
He hasn't been on the ice for a goal.
Period.
4 against nothing. That's wild.
Low event hockey.
Hey, at least I will take that as a positive.
Yeah, I'll take that as a positive.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Because like I can't sit here on this side of the board and pump Matthias Janmark's name or tires for the exact same thing and not do it here. It's a positive.
Yeah,
in those games, if you're wondering, Tyler, how could his individual expected goals be so low? He has attempted 3 shots in those 4 games in the whole game. So, yeah, interesting. His best game was his first game of the season by this count.
Who's he playing with? Like, I
he's
cannot remember him being on the ice.
He could be on the 4th line wing, and I'd be like, Really? Okay. That makes sense.
There was actually a point last night where Josh Brown, this was early in the game. I can't remember what I'd done, but I walked back in the room and he was like high up the ice. I was like, oh, they put him at forward.
No, he was just way late. I know exactly what you're talking about. He was just, he was another chapter late in getting back. Wild.
There was a point last game where he was trying to just make like a D pass and it got stuck in his feet. And I was like, oh my God. Who was the pro scout who was like, this guy?
3 years of
3 years, we need him.
Connor Brown in the OHL was the pro. Connor McDavid in the OHL was the pro.
I'm not hanging that on Connor.
Do you remember? No, but do you remember that was the quote?
Yeah.
Not blocking him.
He was tough in the O. Okay, well, he's 30 now.
If we are looking for some positives, because I want to give you some, the Oilers have now gone 4 straight games with perfection on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
We up.
Amazing.
Listen,
Amazing. No, it's not.
I am going to take it.
In comparison.
Given how bad they were early on. You take it.
Yeah.
It is a silver lining, and I don't care what any of you say. I'm taking it.
They're at 66%.
We at 70? We close?
Going into last game. Let's have a peek here, folks.
Come on, Liam.
I'm loading in. I'm scrolling
Give
down.
it to me.
It's going slow.
15th, 20th. Oh, it's still lower. 25th. Keep
Uh-oh.
going. Oh my God. 31st.
We did it.
We're out. We're out of the basement.
Guy is smoking hot.
67.4.
We're not the
Now,
worst
if we
PK.
keep climbing,
Listen,
we might just catch Anaheim tonight at 68.1.
go ahead.
We just need a couple of kills. We're killing it.
We're killing him.
A couple of kills
Power
go a
play,
long way.
16%, by the way.
Couple of kills
Also,
go a long way.
I just like to point out the Detroit Red Wings, who are dead last in penalty killing.
Take that, Detroit.
But let me just change this up. Yeah, that's right. Third in the NHL on the power play, 32%. That would be a killer, wouldn't it? It's like, yes, a power play's back in. It's like, damn, we give a penalty.
I've said the same line probably 5 times, 6 times on podcasts and on the website. If you had given me carte blanche to be like, what are the Oilers' problems this year? Power play wouldn't have been on the list. It just wouldn't have been there.
Would you, here's another fun one. We're really playing the hits today. Would you make a change?
Yeah.
Ekholm's
Power
gotta
play
do it.
for sure.
It's got to be Ekholm, right?
I would actually Nugent-Hopkins, they're both cursed right now. Both of those guys, between the two of them, they had 9 shots on goal last night.
Yeah.
The Oilers shot 30 pucks. Those two had a third of the shots. They cannot, like Nuge had a great one from in tight. Hyman had a wide open net on that pass from McDavid. McDavid actually banged his stick on the boards after that happened.
Which I loved.
Those two are cursed right now. So I'm making a change with both of them on the power play. And I would also give Ekholm a little bit of time. So I might make just a wholesale change on PP1.
Breaking news.
Go ahead.
Montgomery fired.
So who is it confirmed now?
Confirmed by Frank Saravalli.
Yep.
But
Sacco.
officially credited to Rich Keefe, who was some guy who had it like hours ago and nobody could like lock it in.
He's like a local Boston podcaster.
Yeah, so he originally tweeted it out.
Get back to me when it's Chief
Corn
Keefe.
Cob TV and his brother.
11:44 a.m. He tweeted, "Scoops, Jim Montgomery out, Joe Sacco in."
So he then went on his podcast later and was like, the Bruins are scared. They're waiting till Celtics Cavs tonight to announce it. So no one's paying attention. So there's now, I guess I'm just looking at a running theory that the Bruins saw that and we're like, can't look that bad. So they just pulled the trigger immediately. That's wild. I did not think Jim Montgomery was on the hot seat. He was
way to go, Swayman.
Yeah. Well, did you hear Montgomery last night?
No.
They were, because Swayman gave up 5 goals to the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And they asked Montgomery, like, hey, do you think it's because of training camp? And Montgomery said something like, no, I don't think his struggles are related to not having a training camp. But not having a training camp does not help anybody. And I was like, so they are.
Well, I mean, that's just like obvious. Of course it does.
Especially as a goalie. Like
Find me any player who comes in late in the season and just picks it right up. It just doesn't happen. Especially for a goalie. Goodness gracious.
I'll give you a take. Not the only coach that's going to get fired this week.
Who else you got?
Knobloch?
Lalonde has got to go. They lost to San Jose last night after leading twice.
Did you say Knobloch?
I was just joking.
You rascal.
There were people in our chat today being like, just fire the coach. Works every time.
I think Knobloch's pretty pissed right now.
Probably.
I think the way he is sending messages, I'm just going to say the forwards specifically, would suggest to me that like, yeah, he's not really happy. And like, this just seems to be a lot of frustration.
And I'd say this, I think he would send a message to Bouchard if he could.
Yeah.
Like, what's he going to do?
You elevate Brown to the top pairing.
Like, yeah.
Do you think Mike Sullivan is on the hot seat?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh?
The Pittsburgh thing is
They're so bad.
interesting. Yeah. And like Kyle Dubas has done a brutal job there. But they just seem to not want to move on from anything that has like won them stuff in the past. And I understand it. But Mike Sullivan hasn't done anything for a few years. Probably a good idea. Fresh face.
I actually feel bad. Like, I just feel because I've always loved Sid. Like watching him on a team so mediocre just bums me out.
I would say to Pittsburgh fans that obviously listen to this podcast,
Of course, welcome.
Washington were kind of in the dirt a couple of years ago too.
Mhm.
I know things like the Backstrom thing kind of.
Hey, what happened to Ovi last night?
In a way,
Something in his leg week to week.
yeah.
Ooh, that's not good.
Kerrigan?
Nancy
Him?
Kerrigan?
Yeah, that's the one.
Mhm.
I think it was an inside job. I think they
You
thought
think
he was going a
Utah
little
really
too
didn't
fast.
want him
You think Wayne sent him?
I thought he was going a little too fast, and they decided to take him down a notch.
But the guy was like on pace for like 60, isn't he?
5 goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Crazy.
2 goals last night before he got hurt. So I think Lalonde goes this year. I think Sullivan goes this year. I think at some point it gets so ugly in Nashville that they got to do something.
Say, yeah, Brunette.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it gets so ugly. Now, St. Louis would wait till the end of the year to fire Bannister because he just got in last season.
Speaking of St. Louis, we got him. We got him back.
Revenge.
The Oilers
Take
claimed Kasperi Kapanen off waivers today. There was once upon a time that would have excited me a little more.
Do you think we can dangle him back for Holloway?
Just
You can
straight
have
up?
him back, but
I was also wondering, like, this doesn't help your Infinity Stones ring or glove, does it?
He is a former Leaf.
He is a former Leaf.
Like, I don't know where we're at currently on the list.
Yeah,
Because
there's a-
Barry and
well,
Cece are gone now.
Yeah,
And
But
I
Dermott-
had to take Jack Campbell off there. He couldn't last on it.
So who are the former Leafs we have?
Brown,
Hyman, Brown, Dermott,
Yeah.
now Kapanen.
Kapanen.
You only need one more or 2 more?
I think
I don't remember.
5 Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Harry was never a Leaf, hey?
No,
Harry?
just a Maple
Harry.
Leaf.
Oh, I thought you said
was
Harry.
Josh Brown a Leaf?
Yeah.
Oh,
Josh Brown should be in the NHL.
Yeah, so
We're kind of moving on the Sens a little bit too, because Brown and Dermott were both Sens.
That's about it.
Revenge
Josh
game
Brown?
tonight?
Oh, Josh Brown.
Connor Brown
Revenge game?
Yeah,
Connor
maybe?
Brown, Josh Brown.
Just moving along before we get to the betting talk for our friends at Bet365.
But what about Kapanen?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have takes on him?
I have none.
My take is this. This means nothing because he makes $1 million.
Nothing means anything. Eat Arby's.
If he sucks, just do what St. Louis did and send him to the minors. The only thing it might mean is maybe Arvidsson's a bit more injured than we think.
To steal a line from the great Mike Tyson, we'll all be deathed one day.
Yep.
That's how he delivered it.
Legacy. A made up word.
The big guy is smoking hot.
Kasperi Kapanen scored 6 goals in 73 games last year. So I know what you're thinking. He'll fit right in.
But here's another thing. When Pittsburgh put him on waivers, St. Louis claimed him. He had really good season with St. Louis in that short span. I think he had like 23 points, like 40 games, something like that. Yeah.
14 points in 23 games.
I knew there
Not
was
bad.
23 in there.
Yeah,
So
not
maybe
bad.
he just hits the ground running and then we send him to, I don't know.
But like
Siberia.
another thing, and sorry, Waz, if you're listening, but like replacement for Connor Brown? Bring Philp up? Or not Connor Brown, Ryan, what's his name?
If you're trying to play with more pace,
Derek Ryan.
yes, you make your fourth line Kapanen, Philp, and someone.
Yeah.
I guess not Perry, but then move Skinner up and put Podkolzin there. Podkolzin,
Now
Kapanen, Philp. They'll just skate around. We need a new fast Zamboni line. That's what we're missing.
Cardio
We
line.
do miss fast Zamboni.
Those three, they would need Travis Dermott 870 games to score, but they'd skate fast.
Hey, listen. Skating, while a lot of people talking about team speed, fast Zamboni, it's out there. It's an option. And bring down our average age, right?
Yeah, they would actually save money there too. I don't know. I love Derek Ryan. I think he's ultimately been fine. for his
The Oilers,
standard,
just
but-
because you mentioned it, the Oilers are now back into LTIR. They are no longer accruing space with the claiming of Kasperi Kapanen.
yeah.
Moving along.
So inevitable, wasn't it?
Any final thoughts, Kapanen? Is he even going to play? He's not playing an A.
No, the flight's 8 hours.
With connections.
Oof. Oh, I know how that goes.
Gregor tweeted that he'll meet them in Edmonton
That's
when
fun.
they come home.
Enjoy your new home.
I wonder
Kasperi.
if we'll see Arvidsson LTIR right away here.
Worried about him being kind of a Band-Aid.
Yeah, how does someone bleed this long day to day?
Well, he had a 50-50 chance of playing on Friday, I thought, or whenever that game was. Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jim Montgomery won Coach of the Year 2 years ago and got fired. The Coach of the Year before that was Daryl Sutter, who then got fired 2 years later.
Wow.
Bruce Cassidy won in 2020, got fired within 2 years. Barry Trotz got it in 2019, was fired within 2 years. Gerard Gallant got it in 2018, and I think he might have even gotten fired within 2 years.
Cool.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
With Vegas.
That was
Yeah.
the cab.
Yeah. Tortorella in 2017.
With who?
Columbus.
Well,
I think
probably-
he got fired within 2 years.
Any luck.
Don't win
Yikes.
Coach of the Year. Just be an average coach. Because if you do well, it's almost like getting a promotion at work. Then the pressure's on, the spotlight's on you.
Right.
Just hang.
What
hang
year
back.
did he win? 2017?
Yeah.
He was fired in 2021.
Okay, so he survived. pretty
Peter
good.
Chiarelli, nominated for GM of the Year, fired the next year. It's good times.
That's
Right?
wild.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
You know? The other big news that kind of came out. First of all, shout out to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, game number 900. He still looks like a child. Please score a goal, please.
I thought he had
Buddy.
it yesterday.
I thought he had 2. Arguably over the last 3 games. The reason I'm not necessarily worried about Nuge too much is he's producing a lot of chances. Same with Zach Hyman. Eventually it's going to turn, but right now, man, it is painful.
He was. There's that sheet that goes out, isn't there, with the lines?
Yep.
He was number 1 on that list yesterday. So must have played well, I guess.
5 shots on goal last night. So I just
And
build
goals.
upon that, hopefully, maybe, Dan. I don't know.
Yeah.
the bigger story though that came out yesterday is the salary cap could go up by $9 million plus. That'd be nice. Tyler, you wrote about it today at Oilersnation.com.
You want me to give you the nuts and bolts of it, as they say?
Oh,
Please.
Feet touched.
You can read it all. Our feet touched?
No, Dan and I, it's a mix up.
I missed the feet touching.
Mhm.
That's nice. Anyway.
All right, there's my cap article. So if I can put it in the simplest terms, I basically projected out the roster for next year and assigned cap hits to a bunch of the guys that I believe they would bring back. Again, very early days to be doing this, but the cap going up basically is the difference between having $3.1 million to sign a defenseman or $8 million to sign a defenseman.
Oh,
Or 2 $4 million defensemen.
Which, yep, you might need. Basically, what I had was the forward group all comes back. Draisaitl's extension kicks in, or all the guys that are under contract, right? So Nuge, McDavid, Hyman, Kane, Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Podkolzin, Henrique, and Janmark. Top 9 all under contract. I said Savoy makes the team, Philp makes the team, and you bring back Connor Brown for $1.25 million. So those are your 12 forwards, or at least the dollar values roughly you'd want for your 12 forwards. Then on the blue line, you have Ekholm, Nurse, Stetcher, and Kulak all under contract next year. So you need to sign basically 3 defensemen. Let's say Emberson is $1 million or somewhere around there. Bouchard is 9, I said, for the simplicity of my projection, which I know will cause some people to veer
Getting
off
cheaper
the
by
road.
the day.
Yeah. So that's how I got to that number. But if you want to know just how significant it is, again, if you wanted to run a blue line next year, that was Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, and blank, Kulak, Emberson with Stetcher as your extra. You kind of got, if the cap can do this jump that Friedman's reporting, you could have close to $8 million to spend on it.
Doesn't this scare you that all those teams are going to be getting this kind of a boost though at the same time?
I think who should really be paying the most attention, the fact that they're talking about this, is any team with a young RFA term, right? 8 years at whatever they'll sign for right now and just lock them up.
That's
And
fair.
again, people will groan about Bouchard, but if you can get him for, let's say, 8.5, you have to remember things are going to look different. The pandemic stalled things and we all kind of got in this mindset, but if you sign Bouchard for 8.5, by the back half of that contract, it's probably going to be a situation where there are 30 defensemen making more than him. Maybe I'm exaggerating, probably a bit, but you get what I'm saying. The cost is going to keep going up. So lock guys up.
Anyway, good news. If it does happen, that would be very, very helpful.
Yep.
Please and thank you. Let's talk a little betting, boys. We got a game to get to today, courtesy of our friends at Bet365. The betting segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Oilersnation Radio. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets, whatever the sport, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. The code is NATION. Nation. The code is NATION. We've got the Ottawa Senators on deck tonight. Second half of a back-to-back. We're going to play Guess That Line a little bit, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
The money line. Let's just straight winner. Who wins the game? I'm not going to give you any hints on this, Dan.
Which side am I guessing?
Interestingly enough, they are the same.
Oh. What? I'm going to say minus 120.
They're the same on the money line.
Oh, then there's only one correct
110.
answer.
Minus 110.
It's got to be a pick 'em, right? Minus 110 a pop.
Minus 110 it is.
Well, you guys are smarter.
How about the puck line? Get a little sassy. Oilers to win by 2+ goals, Liam. Sens have been inconsistent, as have our beloved Oilers. What if you're chasing the juice? The puck line.
Plus 160.
Tyler, what do you got?
Plus 190.
Dan?
Plus 175.
That is a plus 225 puck line, gentlemen.
I should have known.
Let's
that.
get it. Let's get it,
160.
boys.
We chasing?
I already did the Rangers one.
I did the Rangers one too. Yeah. I
Play
can't
'em
believe that
together.
line was what it was.
Play
Given
'em
it is
together.
answer.
It went
Did it?
down. It's plus 190 now, but still, it's amazing.
Next up, the over-under for the evening is set at 6.5 goals. 6.5 goals. It's pretty close on both the over and the under. What about the over, Tyler? Over 6.5 goals, which would pay out more than the under. What is
then
that
I'll
over?
say it's minus 105.
Liam, we're playing Guess That Line. What's the over? They're pretty close, but not quite even.
Would pay out more.
Over pays out more. Yep.
Tyler said plus 105.
Minus 105.
Minus 110.
Dan, what's your guess? Over, under. 6.5.
Plus 105.
Dan nails it. Plus 105.
Yeah.
Direct hit. Bullseye for Dan.
Yeah.
We need some goals, gentlemen. For some reason, the Oilers have been shut out 3-0 on both of their prime nights.
Oh.
It's consistency you can set your watch to. However, I don't expect them to be shut out again. How about an anytime goal for Connor McDavid?
Plus 120.
Dan
Plus
and Tyler?
105.
Plus 140.
Plus 115 currently for Connor. How about a guy who's tied for the league lead in goals? And let me give you the hint that Draisaitl anytime goal actually pays out more than McDavid despite having more goals on the season.
Plus 130.
Plus 135.
Plus 125.
Plus 140. Dan gets the Price is Right rules.
I like that pick then.
So a little anytime goal for Leon. I've already put a little sprinkle on that just in case. Just in case. I'm also looking at the over 2.5 shots for Jeff Skinner's plus 190 tonight. He did hit that last night against Montreal.
Wait, what did you just say to me?
Plus 190.
For 1.5 shots.
Over 2.5 shots.
Oh. It's
Over 2.5
1.5
shots.
I was
No.
like,
Just
Jeez
about
Louise.
threw his phone through the wall. He was so excited.
Mhm. So that's another one I'm looking at. Any other bets stick out to you, Tyler?
Part of me thinks the power play should get going. McDavid to do 2 points is minus 110. He feasts on the Ottawa Senators. So I don't even hate that. I like that Draisaitl one.
What is Pot?
Hyman shot prop. I like get him up to 4+. I feel like he's going to start going on a little bit of a heater here.
What's Jay's favorite bet of Pot Colson anytime?
He actually didn't bet it today.
He didn't bet it
So
today.
for sure it's happening.
Yeah, today's the one that's going to.
Pot Colson gets a hat trick tonight.
Pod Colson, any first goal scorer too, not just the anytime.
Puck Colson is plus 700, I believe.
Wow.
Wow.
Tonight's the night.
I believe. Man, that guy's got
700.
so many chances. There's so many guys who are just collecting chances that cannot get it done. Anyway,
Keeping
There's
him on the second line though.
some betting talk for our friends at Bet365. Open an account at Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets, whatever the sport, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Use the code NATION. Code is NATION. Finally, we're going to wrap up the podcast here, fellas. Keys to victory for nationgear.ca. If you are looking for a brand new Christmas sweater, which I believe you should, I think you'd look very handsome in it or beautiful, whichever way you'd prefer. The Ho Ho Hope Will Never Die Christmas sweater is now available at nationgear.ca. Go check it out. We are also still running the Jasper Minor Hockey fundraiser. That is a tee and the crew neck. If you're watching the video version, you can see Liam wearing the crew neck. He looks very handsome in it. Slimming, handsome. Kennedy did a great job. Looks good. Help us raise some money for Jasper Minor Hockey. Get the kids back on the ice in Jasper.
I sent Kennedy a Nation Gear idea today.
You want to tease it?
Sure. Someone needs to score a goal. And I'll give you a clue. His name can be similar. Could fit in Godzilla.
Colson.
So if you can kind of put that together, we might have something in the works. That's not confirmed or unconfirmed. But it's something I texted Kennedy about today. And I laid out this idea and I said, hey, I know this is complicated, but I'm just the ideas guy. And she said, let me look into it.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, just thinking out loud, can somebody score a goal would probably be a good t-shirt.
That could be something.
Can somebody score a goal? Please. All right. Keys to victory. Oilers are playing the Ottawa Senators for their first of 2 meetings on the season. We're just going to go around the horn with as many keys to victory as possible. My first one, just to lean into it, is back check. Please.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tyler?
Be dangerous. Like, you're going to get looks against the Ottawa Senators. They are not stout defensively. Just like Montreal wasn't. They didn't do a good enough job of turning average looks into great looks. So turn your average looks into great looks and capitalize on them.
Liam, you're up next. Keys to victory.
Limit the mistakes and just let's score some goals.
Nation Dan?
Well, if there's one thing this team likes, it's emotion. And I think that it's time to manufacture some of that. Josh Brown, grab Zach McEwen and do something about it. I wanted to see that last night. I wanted to see that against Jack-Eye, but just fight somebody, get some emotion into the game, show the team that you give a shit.
My next key to victory kind of touches on that, Dan, is the NHL is not easy. Let's crank up the urgency by at least a half turn. Last night was very frustrating just watching them content to pass around the perimeter. You're not going to score from there in this league. It's too hard. Respect the blue lines. Got to throw that in on brand. Tyler, anything else?
No, I'm really hoping, I don't know much of a key to victory. I'm really hoping Stuart Skinner plays well tonight and dials it in. Liam and I feet touched.
That was really nice.
I think that's one that I'd like to see is just Stu have a really solid night here. Silence some of the haters for an evening.
Can't blame Daryl. Daryl not playing.
To piggyback off of yours, Bag Milk, because you piggybacked off mine, hit their talented guys. I really do think that guys like Timmy Stützle don't like being pushed around. So get physical, get in their face.
And another thing too, like Allmark is not playing. Is he the starter tonight for Ottawa?
I believe so.
Allmark is not playing his best hockey right now. Make his life difficult. Get in his kitchen. Get greasy to the front of the net.
Yeah.
In the key, if you will. Get greasy. Try and get some shots from within the center of the ice.
Allmark confirmed coming off a game where he gave up 5 on 19 shots against Philly. Before that, though, 27 save shutout of the Leafs.
So I think just get greasy in front of Allmark. He's a very good goalie when he's at his best. Make his life difficult.
Yeah.
Because if you're just lobbing floating wristers from the point like you did last night against Mombo, he's going to shut you out too.
Yep.
Anything else? We'll wrap it up. nationgear.ca. Keys to victory.
I got mine.
I'm good.
Good.
Wrap it. Oh, we don't have that song over here.
No.
Hot beat. What does this one do?
Don't care.
That's just Dan. So let's wrap it up with the score prediction, gentlemen. I'm going to go a 9-1 Oilers victory against the Senators. Tyler, what do you got?
5-3.
Lehman.
3-2.
Nation Dan.
4-0 Edmonton Oilers win.
There you go. Enjoy the win, everybody. We'll talk to you on Friday.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.